political opinion.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Kopi with Chris. I'm your host, Chris Henson. As it is, we all know that getting fit or keeping fit has already been quite a challenge for many people. Getting that gym membership or that personal trainer to get the most out of you, to get off your sedentary butts, or to just get out of that already busy lifestyle so that you can get healthier, fitter. That's always been a challenge, hasn't it? But how has it been for the fitness industry since the circuit breakers started? How healthy have their businesses been? And what are the plans in phase two, post circuit breaker? And how will they have evolved in this new normal after the easing of measures? How will they adapt? We have some players from that industry with us today as my Kopi Kakis, and right now I'd like to bring them on one by one. And our first Kopi Kaki to join me this morning for coffee is Angel Al. Hi, Angel. Good morning.
Hi, Chris.
And as usual, I ask all of my Kopi Kakis on my show every time, do you have your preferred beverage with you?
Yes.
Oh, marvelous. And you got a teaspoon in that thing. And water. See?
Yeah, this coffee, that's water.
Oh, that's coffee, yeah?
Yes.
Oh, good for you. You know what I'm having? I'm having this newfangled thing called fat burning coffee.
Oh, is it the bulletproof coffee or something?
Yeah. You see fitness people, you tell them these things, they know straight away. And you're right. Bulletproof. I don't feel that darn bulletproof though, despite the fact I'm having it.
How does it taste?
Funky.
Oh, yeah,
Anything that's for fat burning it somehow will smell or taste funky, right?
Yeah.
So Angel, can you tell our listeners what do you do in the fitness industry?
I'm at the moment I'm a freelance PT, so I go to people's homes. So some of them are, they have their home gyms, or I will work with the condo gyms. So for those without a gym, they will come to me at Clarke Quay where I'm at. I rent a space in the gym, but the clients, they don't have to pay me extra. They just pay my training fees and I pay the rent.
Oh, so that's your business cost then, the rent for clients in that position.
Yes.
Right.
But I don't have to travel to them, you see. Yeah. And I would do a mix of like body weight training, yoga, rehab, or bodybuilding.
Okay, and that's interesting.
Depending on what the client needs.
Rehab is a part that I find interesting.
Rehab.
Yeah.
Actually, more people need rehab than you think,
Oh, really? Tell us more about that later on. Hold on to that thought about rehab, what you just said, that sentence you just used. More people need rehab than anything else. I'd like our listeners to understand the reason why. Even if they feel that they don't need rehab, you think they do?
I think at different phases, because we all have some funny thing in our shoulder, or the knee pain, backache. Yeah, so rehab is a very broad term in terms of correction of how your body is being used.
You just hit a nerve in my shoulder. You're very right. Yeah. When you said, the moment you said shoulder, it hit me straight away. I went, yeah. I know that feeling because I got this dink right here. Yeah.
There you go. So if you do a lot of shoulder presses on top of that, okay, you can guess what's going to happen in the short term, and in the long term, more damage can happen. So yeah. That's where people like us will come in.
Okay, now hold on to that thought. I'm bringing in our next guest. He's coming on board now. We have Anson Wee.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming on board. Can you tell everyone what you do?
Yeah, I'm a freelance personal trainer. So mostly I do a lot of personal training, but also do conduct a lot of group trainings, like boot camps and all that. Formerly with Fitness First as well for a year plus, and then I left to just go on to better things.
Right. Okay, okay, go on to better things. So you actually feel the place you're in right now is a better place.
Yes, definitely much more better because I don't need to, well, consider it's my own business, right? So I don't need to meet any targets of companies and all that, answer to anyone and all this is,
So the usual perks and benefits of being an entrepreneur, huh?
that's right.
Right. Okay, thank you, Anson. So can we please bring on my next Kopikaki? And appearing on screen is one of my favorite people, and he is Khiang. Hi, Khiang.
Hey,
Good
Chris.
morning, and
Good
welcome to
morning.
Kopi with Chris. Do you happen to have your choice beverage with you?
I do. It's not Kopi, but I have my special blend here.
Oh, a special blend. Can you share with us what that blend is?
Well, it's just a mixture of things that I drink, in a day, but, too lazy to make them separately, so I just combine everything into
Oh,
one. So it has like a protein shake, collagen, there's, green powder, it has, and then for the virus, I have a immunity booster as well.
All in one?
Yeah, all in one, just too lazy.
Okay, and I thought my bulletproof, fat-burning coffee would taste funky. Here we go.
Yeah, mine surprisingly doesn't taste all that bad,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't go for that. There's one mix I wouldn't blend in. But in any case, Khiang, could you tell everyone what you do in the fitness industry?
Sure. Well, basically, I'm the owner and operator of 5 Anytime Fitness gyms. Anytime Fitness, in case the viewer isn't aware, is the largest gym franchise in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I think we are about 4,000 plus gyms worldwide. In Singapore, about 60 plus. So, far and away the largest gym network in Singapore as well. So I own 5 of them, all in the Northeast, including one in downtown East, EHub. Which is Chris's kampong, as he calls it. I've been in the industry for about 5 years, so I think considered to, compared to the other panelists, I'm probably a newbie. But hopefully, can share some insights during this show. Because Chris has been with us, I think just about those 5 years you've been with us all the way.
4 years plus, yeah.
So, thank you, Chris, for being a loyal member. And of course, thanks for the invitation to be on the show.
It is my pleasure to have you with us as well. And it's okay, guys. If you want to put in any shameless plugs, go ahead, There's no shame in doing that on this show.
I'm going
to. Right? And yes, it's true. I absolutely love the gym that I go to. And I'm very proud of that gym. And Khiang is the owner of that gym. As you heard, he's got 5 gyms. And I really call that my kampong. The kind of friends I've made there has been remarkable. People that in life right now, I cannot do without. And I think it's a fantastic community that Khiang has built.
We miss you too.
so loyal members like you will definitely go back, right?
I will.
Yeah, see?
I mean, point blank, I tell you, I will. There is no darn way I won't. And if those who don't go back, and if there's anything I can do to ask them to do go back, however, I would say right now to Khiang, you need me, let me know.
Every day, Chris is on the Facebook saying, I miss the gym. So that's already a good help.
Actually, I miss the gym, It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, and speaking of gyms, we have one more gym owner to bring on board. And he's coming on right. Hey, Jason.
Hey, hi.
Morning.
Good morning.
You happen to have your cuppa with you?
Yeah, it's quite a big one.
Well, that's a stainless steel cup. Okay, yeah, now we know that. I know that two of our Kopikakis here are having kopi. And Khiang is having some crazy mix in his bottle. What do you have in your stainless steel mug?
Black coffee, no sugar. It's usually what I need to get myself.
Kopi o kosong.
Yeah, kopi o kosong.
See, I love people. I love people who have that beverage. Why? Because it just goes to show that gym people. I noticed this about people who gym. It's always kopi o kosong. Why?
no frills, and I don't like all the mix and all the junk and everything lah.
See lah, this fella. I was hoping he's going to say it was because it's caffeine lah, it helps you burn fat lah, it's a good pre-workout drink lah. No lah, you know, it's just so easy to make lah, very lazy to. Aiyoi.
I got too much. I got too much on my mind to be caught up with how much sugar, how much tongkat ali inside the coffee and everything.
Oh, tongkat ali. Now we're going somewhere.
Yeah. Tell me about it, man. At this age.
At this age, now he's going with age. No, that's the number one mistake anybody on any chat show should do. Talk about age. So since you brought it up, how old are you, bro?
Okay, this year I am 44. 44.
Yeah, young lah, please lah, yo. Age.
Yeah.
Yours truly 50. Anson is 51. I'm saying it. I don't care. Yeah, okay. Don't worry, Angel. I don't know your age. You're very clever. You're being very quiet about it. See, Khiang, I won't go there. Okay, so now we keep things as honest and as bold as we can. So this is where I'm going to start off. Can you tell us how were things for you in your respective businesses before the circuit breaker began? Can I throw this first to Anson? As a freelance PT.
Yes, ever since the circuit breaker has come into place, totally zero. So income-wise, nothing. So it's just that, as you know, I put my videos out on Facebook and all that. Some of my boot campers there and all that, they're just nice enough to, just give me some token and all that kind of things. But other than that, nothing. Thank God for my wife. She's working, so I'm just leaning on her for this moment.
Okay. You call your clients boot campers?
Well, I do have my personal clients as well. Of course, some of them are back home overseas. So, and the rest of them is my group. Those people who come to my boot camps and all that. So the boot campers, yeah, I do call them boot campers. So they are the ones who, they have asked me to do like Zoom lessons and all that, classes. For me, one thing is, I don't like it. If I had a choice, I would not want to do it. Okay, because first of all, safety is very paramount to me. Okay, I always take client safety first before anything else. That's it. Being there physically to guide them and all that. Sometimes, their left hand, like left leg like that, the coordination is a bit poor and all that. You got to use your fingers to touch them, to exactly push them down a bit here and there and tell them that this is how it's done and all that. But over virtual, it's very different. You wanna tell them like this is the way to do it. Sometimes it doesn't get into their head how it is done. So it's very different. Yeah. And then safety is also, like I said, is very important. What if something is done wrong over that side? I'm sitting over here, it cannot be done. I can't do anything to help you. If you faint or something at home.
Yeah. Safety is a concern. I understand, Anson. Thank you. I'm sorry to hear that things are kind of rough for you at this time. Yeah.
Well, I would say, yeah, it's rough, but at this moment right now, I'm not desperate enough to go into Zoom classes and all yet. So I can tahan a bit.
Okay. On that note about Zoom classes and virtual or online coaching, etc., it's something that we're going to talk about as we move along. Just hold on to that particular thought. Let me move now to the other freelance trainer and the only rose amongst all of us thorns. Angel, can you share with us how were things like previously?
Previously, I was doing quite a lot of sessions one-on-one. So I don't do group lessons. I do one-on-one. Even my yoga lessons are one-on-one. So when the circuit breaker started, it was pretty sudden. So initially we tried to take things outdoors. and I started doing outdoor trainings because online training somehow, it's not the first choice. Yeah, so we took things outdoors. I took people out for running. So at one point, we were actually running through a phone call.
Right.
So I had my client was on a phone call with me, and we were running 50 meters apart. So I run 50 meters ahead of him. So I know the terrain that's coming up, and I will cue him to take his strides wider, or do something different, or go up the steps, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we thought we could do that. Then now we are homebound, so I started taking things online. But like what Anson said, I mean, a lot of my clients have the same sentiments as him. Like my yoga clients, they feel that if it's online, then they rather not do, so they rather they see the circuit breaker as something that's temporary, so they could do without training or without any yoga for 1 or 2 months, and then we will resume after. So I would say my business is down by now. I'm maybe doing 30% of what I used to do.
But you still have that 30% running with you.
Yeah, so there were some changes. So what's interesting is that I think some of the things that came up was a physical client, right? I charge this amount. So when I switched them to online client, the question is, how do I charge, And so what I did was to entice them, to continue that training. I would offer that to train all their family members if they want to in the same session. So I have a mother with daughters in the same session, and I wouldn't do the same workout for every one of them. I actually customize for every single one of them based on what I see.
Can I just stop you there for a moment, Angel? And it's interesting that you say that, how do we charge them, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not physical anymore, it's virtual.
Yeah.
Let me just give you. I don't know whether or not we can link this together, as for everyone's interest to listen to this particular suggestion I'm about to make. When the circuit breaker started, tuition centers, especially those tuition classes, had to stop as well, right? But they all went virtual. They all went online. And surprisingly, no one dropped the tuition fees. Not an iota, not a cent. I'm still paying through my ears, okay? The same tuition fee for my kids' tuition. Now, I know there's academics, yeah, it's maybe different, but then again, is it? If your health is an investment, right? So how is it that we need to lower rates, for instance, if the consideration goes that direction? I don't see why.
Well, if you look at the number of free workouts that are out there.
Okay, hang on.
Yeah.
Let's stop there about the free workout thing. I'd like to hear the opinion of everybody about that soon. But on the topic still of about how much do we charge, right? Let's not talk about the pro bono ones. Yeah. As an artist, I've been asked. I had people calling me up because now shows have gone virtual, right? And some of us have got to do. We've been asked, can you do a voiceover for this particular event that's coming up? It's pre-recorded. Yeah. They asked me for my rate. Now I was in a little conundrum, just like you. How do I charge, right? And I decided I'm not going to go any lower. Why? It's because we do things that other people cannot do. You guys do things that other people cannot do. When I grow up, I want to be Anson Wee. Because he can do things I can only dream of doing. He does 2,000 squats and he can still walk normally like a normal human being the next day. I do 120 squats and I couldn't walk for 2 darn days. He can do things I can't do. And we want to emulate people like him, right? So, this is what I'm talking about. So something for you to think, for you guys to consider. do we need to really discount ourselves because we are no longer in the physical realm? Just food for thought for the moment. Okay, I'm sorry, Angel, I got to stop you there. Let me move to Khiang. Khiang, how were things like before the circuit breaker kicked in?
So this is just to clarify the question. This is before circuit breaker, but after COVID.
After COVID lah. After COVID into circuit breaker.
Okay. So basically, we were rolling with the measures that the government were kind of putting up like next to every day.
Right.
Very short notice, very, very little lead time to prepare. So we kind of like just almost every week I was kind of rolling out new things, right? Whether it is, now we've got to manage the capacity, one person per every 16 square meters. Now I've got to cancel classes. Now I've got to put in place the stickers to make sure everybody stays 1 meter apart. Switch off machines so that, to maintain the distancing and all that. So, every day was a little bit of a struggle. But, the business was still there, still more or less intact, I would say. Of course, not all the members were happy. There were a number of unhappy members, but, I've learned very early in this, business that it's impossible to please everyone. So for example, when the big box gyms closed and we remain open, most of the Anytime Fitness gyms remain open. There were a couple of members who actually posted on our Facebook page saying that, can you please be socially responsible and close the gym? I'm like, I have like 90%, you look at Chris, he won't be happy if I did that, right? So we can't please everyone. And I think people got to realize that we were not being socially responsible. We were kind of incurring higher costs because at that point in time, in order to do kind of 24/7 operations, right, which is what Anytime Fitness is known for. Our gyms are open 24/7, never close. We had to hire people, part-timers, overnight. So our cost base actually increased. They were there to kind of enforce the measures, to take temperature, to make sure that the person, coming in, scans the QR code and, do all the decorations and so on and so forth. So we were actually incurring higher costs and then getting hammered for it. So people got to kind of really understand why we are doing things, try and, be more, I guess, cooperative in terms of complying with the measures. Also kind of understand that, businesses are different, right? So the big box gyms, they, probably had a lot of difficulty enforcing the 1 to 16 rule because their setup is just different, right? They have enclosed locker space, toilets, a lot of showers, they have large classes. So it's very difficult for them to enforce, whereas our gyms are all kind of open concept. So it's a bit easier for us to do. Also from a business perspective, their cost base is probably different. I'm speculating here, but I know they have a lot more staff than we do. So from a business perspective, it may be, it may make more commercial sense for them to be closed rather than open, under all those measures.
Well, I thank you for your candor in telling us and sharing this with us because, I agree with you. I think this goes for every business. They all encounter funny kinds of customers and clients, right? Who come up with all kinds of nonsense and then they all get all so self-righteous all of a sudden and go, oh, you're not socially conscious and all that. I really don't think much of these guys personally. Though I can see where they are coming from. However, like I said, being a member of your gym, I think whatever measures you did put in place, I'm there like every other day, every week for years. So I know what the measures that you put in place were really, really sound. As a matter of fact, I applaud you for that. I've told other businesses about the model you implemented for this, not just gyms. I'm talking about other businesses. Yeah, now I think it was a very, very good idea. And those who see things otherwise.
Just to be clear, I think 90% of our members were happy that we were still open and they had a place to go to work out. And we actually did have a lot of members from, previously from a big box gym that actually came to sign up with us, which is why I said, the business was actually doing okay. But of course, this is pre, circuit breaker. And, I think you are going to talk about post circuit breaker. So I'll leave that aside for the time being.
Yeah. Thank you. So let me ask Jason then. Pre-circuit breaker, okay, fine. Since Khiang was so specific, in fact, asking me, about being more specific about my question. Pre-circuit breaker and when COVID started, how was business for you?
Well, I run a different model from not like a typical gym where I don't do memberships. We actually do training packages. We also have martial arts classes, fitness training facility lah. And we try to open up avenues for different people who want to do different things. So if somebody says that, can you do a Pilates class, or we suggest, and then see whether we can get somebody to come in. Or can we do a football training for certain football teams and so forth, and we actually will do that. Pre-circuit breaker, it was doing not too bad. We were doing okay because I personally train people mostly one-to-one in a small group, not like in a big group setting, and it's not where my place is not where most people, general public, can actually pay a membership to come in and actually work out. So we try to teach, educate, and try to correct their form and posture, alignment, to help them improve the condition of their body. And they were pretty happy. Some of them actually said that, are you clean? They come in and they come in with their own rags, their own towels. They come in with their own sanitizers, their own disinfectants, which is actually very good. We're socially responsible, and which is also, I'm actually proud and happy for them, because they actually want to still come and work out. They see that there is this need, but they are just kind of particular of the cleanliness and the hygiene, because as we all know, there's sweat, there's contact, and martial arts especially, you can't really fight thin air, if you know what I mean. Maybe I can somebody suggested Tai Chi classes, but it's kind of slow to do that. When actually they had all this, I call it DOSCON black, because it's or grey. To begin, before that it was grey, and now it's black because I can't do any thing at all. It's kind of stupid shit, but it's grey because it's grey area. Everything is all left. There are no rules in place. Everything is a grey area. Some people will complain, you're not socially responsible. So I can understand completely where Khiang is actually coming from. I can understand where other people are coming from. They want to be safe. They don't want to catch something. The virus could be asymptomatic, which we all don't know unless we can actually test ourselves every day.
The thing is this, for guys like yourself and Khiang, the rental situation, your landlords.
Yeah.
Are they giving you guys a hard time, or are they being understanding?
So coming into the kind of post-circuit breaker, right? So basically, because we've been shut down, revenue basically drops to zero, right? So zero revenue for right now looks like at least 3 months. It could even be longer. Cost base wise, rent, as you mentioned, is probably the largest component of my usual overheads. I'll say roughly about 30%. My landlords, I have 5 sites, right? So it differs from site to site. Some of them are commercial, some of them are HDB, some of them are in community centers, so under PA. So you have a range. I would say they have been relatively reasonable. So I have had it better than some of the other franchisees that I know about. So if you deal with a commercial landlord, especially one that is in the mall, maybe run by a REIT, I think you'll have a slightly harder time. So far for us, it's been relatively okay. But of course, I think the most you will get it's about 2 months, and that's still not enough to cover. So now we're closed for 3 months, right? So you're still kind of short. And the 2 months may not be 2 straight months, it could be kind of deferred. So from a cash flow perspective, you still face an issue.
Question, do your membership fees continue to run?
No, so we've frozen all our members. So to be fair to our members, they have no gyms to use. So we've frozen everybody. They basically don't pay during this period.
Jason, the challenges you have, your landlord, it says your landlord be understanding it, not at all, right? When you were saying
no, at all. I guess it's also, I mean, I have to come from their point of view and look from their stance that, I mean, they also probably, they themselves are businessmen. They themselves have overheads, and they probably also have stuff they
sure.
actually have to do.
But have you guys read recently, I think it was just early this morning, 5 associations came together. There are about 10,000 people in that, and they are lobbying the government to try to change the legislature to make tenancy agreements a lot more, equitable for both tenant and landlord, because right now it does seem to be one-sided. It's been like that for some time.
Real quick, if I can interject. Previously, if I know from what I heard from some of my friends, I'm not starting a controversy here, but from some of my friends who are property agents and all, there are quite a number of clauses in the contract to begin with for a business owner who actually runs a brick and mortar establishment that the landlord, it actually benefits the landlord a lot more in terms of finances and everything, and even before COVID-19, even before this. And I kind of see this as, if you want to look at the light at the end of the tunnel, a silver lining, that actually this actually kind of like is like telling like this Thanos moment where everything resets, and you actually tells that, like, it snaps the finger, and it actually tells the landlord, look, business owners like Khiang and myself are actually, like, we've been given the unfair end of the stick, and maybe this is about time that you guys actually start looking into this and helping the common man. If I could say that.
Well, you say you guys, not me, I'm not the government. But hopefully they watch the show. I think they do.
I mean, hopefully business owners out there and like landlords also get to watch this episode and get to hear.
But actually, if you think for the long run, right? If the tenant is unable to sustain the lease, they're gonna stop. So they're gonna stop means, and nobody will come in at this time to take up a new lease.
Okay, I'm sorry, Angel. I hear you. I'm not going to continue on this particular run, because last week when we had episode 2 with the FMB guys, this was a major bugbear, and I think it's a major bugbear with any business in any sector.
The same everywhere.
Yes, correct. But let me just sum this up for you. Because it is true that all the tenancy agreements, most tenancy, I can't say it's quite sweeping. Most tenancy agreements are rather standard. Okay, Khiang said all. Okay. Tenancy agreements are rather standard. It's okay. You can cause controversy on my show. It's fine. It is. You see, it's really standard, and it's really one-sided. More, beneficial and protecting of the landlord than it is of the tenant. Yeah. Somebody said in my show last week that there's a clause even in most agreements that says if they decide to refurbish the building, they can tell you with 6 months notice that you have to bug out, even during your lease period, things like that. It's all over the place, in most of our lease agreements. So now I can tell you that people have come together. There's been unity, and not just with one industry or one sector. A few associations have come together to lobby the government to put into legislation, to make these agreements a lot better, fairer to all parties. So it's something for you to read, to find out more about. And same thing as I've said, we discussed this with the F&B industry last week, that one of the things that could really help any industry today would be unity. Regardless of whether you're freelance or whether you're a gym owner, I don't know how that's going to happen. But as we said, a lot of new normals will begin, right? I heard what Anson said earlier about, and I agree, even Angel said the same thing, right? And Jay also said the same thing. you know, in all your disciplines that you practice with your clients, it's got to be tactile. It's about safety, you know, that you got to think about and all that. Like Angel does rehab work, you know, right, as well. So you need to be there. Now, this is a real conundrum, because there's nothing like being there with a person, hands-on with a person. But would you ever consider, as Angel has done, amongst all of you here so far, Angel's the only one that's gone online. Yeah? And understanding all these things, would any one of you ever try that at all? Because why? In the Men's Journal, which I found this article, gym equipment is a term that's, you know, commonly used, but now there are fitness devices.
Yeah.
Yeah, fitness tools.
You know, there is a lot more technologically advanced. But people have spent in the US to build, say, this would affect Khiang and people like Khiang and Jason. They spend $4,000 or $5,000. They build their own home gyms, and it's no longer like your garage gyms, you know, right? Where you have all your good old rusty bars and heavy equipment and stuff. This is tech equipment, fitness devices, where these things challenge you, and it also trains you at the same time. And people have been doing that in the US. Gold's Gym has filed for bankruptcy in the US, in case you didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of this, you know, of the lockdowns there. So what's next then? You know, will you guys really consider, or will you consider really going into this arena? Because why? Somebody said here just now that circuit breaker is temporary. Really? You think
No.
so?
No, I mean, to begin with, 5 years ago, when I was training in San Diego with the Institute of Motion, they kind of predicted that they saw a trend, because there were the beginnings of YouTube videos, Insta Fitness, and now it's coming to be the norm. And they were saying that trainers actually should try to learn how to like create exit strategies, because they didn't foresee that there was going to be a COVID-19 virus kind of thing or pandemic, but they kind of saw that people were actually taking a lot more online with the emergence of Google and everything. And they said that you actually should try. I mean, I know of some trainers in the US way before this COVID-19 been doing very well, taking their lessons online, doing online coaching, online training. And I mean, for all of us trainers, we always heard the phrase from many people who would tell us, we got no time to train. Maybe you could give me a program I could actually do and work from home and can do it myself. This is also kind of like a big kick, because for us trainers, we have to be there, we need to correct, and we need to tell. And it's, like I said, DORSCON gray, because it's still a gray area. Some people like that personalized attention, that somebody actually there to actually tell me, you know, your hands got to be straight, you got to make sure that your back is arched in a certain manner, you don't lock your knees, don't lock your elbows, try not to slouch, stuff like that. And at the same time, people also, the consumer also would say that I don't have time, I don't have money, maybe I should try doing it online. And now that this actually forces us to actually recalibrate and rethink about how we actually can go about doing all these, how to come up with all these measures.
To recalibrate, to see whether or not we need to adapt to this new normal, isn't it?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so Anson, what do you think about that? Do you agree with that?
I don't know. Like I said, you know, it's just something. Like Jason said, it is a gray area. You know, there is some people who like that kind of thing where, you know, you can just be at home, watch a video, and do the exercise and all that. Personally, for me, I think those kind of people who can stay at home and do that kind of video exercise and all that, basically people with much more discipline and all that. All right, so you can look at something, provided you know that you are doing the correct form as well. You know, some people are just like, they think they are doing the correct thing, but in actual fact, if you take a video and you look at them, it's totally everything is wrong, right? So okay, so when we are on the video and we are telling them, say, hey, you know, just lower your backside down a bit. Somehow, sometimes it doesn't connect with them. They think they're getting lowered down and all that. They're doing the thing, but you know, it's not the same as when you're there.
So technology, you feel cannot take over a person who can, yeah.
Yeah, if I can interject.
Wait, hang on a second, Jason. Hang on a second. I let me just finish this.
Okay.
Technology cannot replace a personal trainer because it cannot really feel if you are perhaps doing the right thing with the right form, because it can't feel you. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I would say that, but I would say those people who are more, how do you say, more coordinated, more disciplined with themselves and all that. They know, how they are moving and all that, whether your arms are straightened, whether your backside are down and all. Those people are fine. But
those guys don't need you.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
Basically like me, right? So I go on to learn my calisthenics and all that online. I've never had a calisthenic coach or anything, but I try to get a strict form. I look myself in the mirror and all that to get myself to get that proper
because
form.
You're already in that particular zone when most people actually are not in that zone to know.
So there's a lot of, and I think most gym goers, are just out there, they just want to exercise, basic movement. A lot of them just go, go and run, go and do all this kind of stuff. Those who just go there and pick up dumbbells, sometimes, you've been there, you've seen people picking up dumbbells and, they're just going, but form is all wrong and all that. It's very difficult. And also, I personally feel that, whoever said that COVID-19 is temporary, I would think so also. I would think so. It's just how long that this thing will last.
Okay.
Actually,
Angel? Yes, Angel. Yes.
Yeah, I was thinking, if you look at it this way, the workouts, the equipment, all the different F45 and CrossFit, all these workouts, they are like tools, different modalities, right?
Yeah.
So the personal trainer cannot be a tool. The personal trainer is the strategy maker. So we are using different things put together in a way that is customized for the particular person at that phase in that person's life for a particular goal. So I think the way we should be looking at this is, how can we work with the new things that are coming up? So I have a client who is basically training herself, but what I do for her is I come up with a task strategy for her to hit every week. So she's accountable to me in that this week I hit how many 100 kettlebell swing, I hit how many online session, and one must be a HIIT session, and then I hit how many
you work a program.
How
you work a
often
program.
Stretches, something like that. So
a customized program for you.
Yeah, basically, so it doesn't matter what's out there. So her role is, if she can't find those suitable workouts I find for her, I mean, they are all free, right? So I just look for it, and then we can keep switching. But then because I make her accountable to me, okay, I keep her in check. So then she relies on me to plan this for her, the strategy, and in a way, it's a support. It's a support that keeps her going. And then I check with her, can we do a measurement this week, and things like that. So I think we do it a little differently,
Yeah. I mean, I hear you. You're saying that you're not the tool. You are the person that's a consultant. You're the person who drafts a program and strategizes and customizes to an individual, right?
Yes.
But a tool, perhaps like Anytime Fitness, has their own app, right? There's
real,
so
real
many.
quick, if I could say, just now back to my point, I'm not sure if any of you guys are actually in the know. In the US, they're actually coming up with a device, and this was actually during last year. I mean, the advertisements were actually screened last year during the NFL season
Yes.
before COVID-19, there were actually devices like, I mean, probably very affluent, well-to-do people actually could afford a mirror, a huge mirror, which is actually like a computer screen where it
I
actually
saw
can
that.
telecast. Yeah, I mean, you can telecast the trainer training, doing the, like say, for example, if Anson is like, they were conducting a class for boot camp and people can actually chime in and actually follow, and I mean, you can actually mirror your trainer's movements, and at the same time, you can actually see the mirror and
But,
see how your body is
you
moving.
know,
But I mean, I'm 100% with Anson. We are all social creatures. We are social animals, and at the same time, we don't have that extravagance. We don't have that money.
yeah,
we
but
don't have
bro,
that,
come on. It
I
goes
mean,
deeper than being a social animal here.
yeah. I mean,
It is also what Anson said. It's like, for example, if you're doing an isolation exercise, right?
yeah.
Let's say if you're gonna work on your bicep, right? And then you're doing the same movement, your form may look right, but then again, you're not tensing the right muscle. The
Exactly,
wrong muscle,
exactly.
the muscle's not under
Yeah, yeah.
stress or under as much stress as you want it to be, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, hello, not bad, huh? I know these things. Okay?
Yeah. I mean, one of the more few
chicks. Okay,
thinking.
now. So the thing here is that you can have a damn mirror. I don't care. I'm telling you, I'm a proponent to be in my iron paradise. Okay.
I mean, if I could,
Yes, please.
You mentioned the AF app earlier. So, I mean, coming into, this CB breaker period and with zero revenue, of course, as a business owner, I have to think about, do I want to create a revenue stream, right? And, all this talk about, adjusting to the new normal. We've gone through all that, right? And basically, I've come to the conclusion there is a limit to what we can do for various reasons. Because, one-on-one online coaching is definitely doable. It's something we seriously considered. So far, we haven't rolled it out just because we want to be sure that we can deliver value, right? I don't want to put out something out there just because I want revenue, right? I want to have something that actually provides value to our members. And some of the difficulties that were mentioned previously, definitely real. I mean, there's no replacement for physical contact, if you will, if you want to like really train someone properly. So we weren't sure that we can deliver results. So far we have not put it out there. I mean, to me, there's a kind of a tension between the software development approach where you want to build fast and break faster, you fail faster because you want to kind of constantly reiterate and get to a better version. For me, I don't want to put out something out there that I cannot stand behind, that I, I'm not proud to associate, my brand with. So we've kind of not got to the stage where we are prepared to put something out there. And it doesn't help that, the CB period was initially 1 month. So we thought, okay, this will be over in 1 month, and then kind of got extended 2 months, and then now it's 3 months, and then God knows how long, right? But the other thing was, in my mind is, there is, I think, a certain percentage of our members who would find this kind of online coaching model useful, but there is a big portion, and I think, from a PT perspective, it makes sense, but from a studio perspective, it may make sense, but from a traditional gym, where kind of, your majority of your members are either kind of, bodybuilders or, strength athletes, powerlifters.
Yeah.
I can give you the most brilliant program. You don't have the tools to execute it, right? I mean, if your goal is, 200 kg deadlift, I can give you the most brilliant program, but this unless you have the barbell and the plates, and you live on the ground floor, you're not going to be able to reach that goal.
I like to echo that sentiment, Khiang, because I mean, I strength train, I powerlift, and I can tell you I miss it wholesale. And of all the people I've seen so far, locally, Singaporeans, okay, and people from our gym, members of our gym, right? Everybody's starving. I mean, look, yes, you can spend a couple of $1,000 and you can go buy your power bars and you buy your plates and stuff. But if you live in HDB, how are you possibly going to deadlift? You know what I mean? Bench, maybe I can agree somewhat, but you can't deadlift, okay? You can squat. I
Yeah.
have
So
seen only one guy who invested and bought a platform in his house.
wow.
Yeah. That's one guy,
So
one of our
again, I
members.
assume he lives on the ground floor, right? And it's
No,
just
he
not.
does not.
Does not.
It's not. He does not.
Wow.
Yeah, he
I don't
does
want to be his
not.
neighbor.
No,
So
I guess we are now all like prisoners of the moment, because
not really. No. Let's not be all doom and gloom. We're going to end this whole thing on a positive light here. For example, Real Fit, Jason, your establishment.
Yeah.
I understand your model. You do it's 360 sports kind of training, right? It's football, whether it's martial arts. Maybe it's time to reinvent that model. Still stay in the fitness industry, but offer something that's going to be more flexible.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult to reinvent the wheel if I'm getting your drift, because it's like, first of all, you got to put it out there. There's this marketing element, and then at the same time, you got to let people know that this is the so-called new norm, that this niche market is actually working for you, working for other people, so it could be working for you. From a consumer point of view, they want stuff that's like easily accessible. That's one, and they want stuff that's in. I mean, we are all like creatures of habit, and we look at Facebook, we look at Instagram. Oh, okay, this guy is quite cool. Okay, I'll just follow his program and follow what he's actually doing, and not so much of the niche, because niche actually will also cater to a certain group of people, maybe the hipsters, and maybe
which could keep your business going, you see, for the moment.
Yeah, but
for example, what
I guess
Khiang, you said about power lifters and all that, unless you buy and invest your own equipment, people like us, let me tell you, when the moment you open, my God, we're back,
Yeah, no doubt.
what I mean? So it's kind
I
of
think
niche.
the difference is really, it's not strange to have food at home. It's not strange to drink at home, because that's what people do. I mean, they prefer to drink in a bar and go to a restaurant to eat, and they can't do that now. But it's okay to eat and drink at home. It's not strange. When it comes to kind of, online coaching or workout videos or, even live classes, it is still something that people are not used to doing. That's one thing. And two, from a business owner perspective, we would need it to be commercially viable. And currently it's not commercially viable, I feel.
100%.
Yeah,
Do you
to
think
put
that-
it out there, because there are tons of free stuff. I just did a survey of our members recently, just to kind of find out how they are doing in terms of activity levels during the COVID period, and how best we can support them when they can't come back to the gym. So one of the questions we asked was, what platforms are you using now, and are they free platforms or paid platforms, right? Whether it's video, whether it's an app, whether it's live classes. Majority are not using any platforms, because I think they're just kind of walking or running at the park, right? But for those who are, I mean, like 80-90% are using free platforms, because they're all out there. I mean, every gym out there has free stuff out there. So if you want to put something out there that is paid, right, that's trying to generate revenue, it has to be very high production value. So if it's like a workout video, it has to be competing with, let's say, like a Les Mills, right? And that requires substantial investment, and it requires to hire people, because I have PTs, right? I can ask them to shoot a workout video, and I have asked them to shoot a workout video to post on, to post on our social media to basically service our members and to try and keep them on track, right? But they are not on the same. I'm sorry, they're just not on the same level as the Les Mills, right? Because the staff, they can be very, very good trainers, but if you want to create a good workout video, you have that the screen presence, the charisma that they may not have, right? So I've got to hire new people when there's limited appetite for people to pay, right? Live classes, for us at least, maybe the big box gyms can do it, but for me, I have pay an external trainer to come in to conduct live classes, right? Your yoga, your Zumba, let's say. And my members usually get these classes for free when the gym is open. So who's going to pay for classes now, right? Who would want to pay for something that they used to get for free?
I think I need to sum up the show right now. Let me just put it this way, for what I hear from all of you this morning. First of all, the tool is the app or any other technology is available for your purpose. The personal trainer is not the tool. You're the strategist, you are the training consultant, you're the one who can use the tool to help your clients improve. Yeah. And as for doing things virtually, I kind of agree. Well, kind of is too soft. I fully agree that when it comes to safety, as Anson had put it, and it comes to getting you to do things right, and of course, camaraderie, yeah, having that friendship, which we should not be lost because we are distancing ourselves socially. I don't see how today is actually, to be honest, today is World Kindness Day, just in case you didn't know. Or I think it was yesterday. Yesterday was World Kindness Day. And how can we possibly not come back to being social again, right? We should, we have to. As I said, as a person who goes to a gym and the community you've got is priceless, yeah? Besides having, the need to make sure your form is right, that you're doing it right, you're tensing the right places, and that you're being kept safe. On top of that, the future that's going to be happening soon. This is not going to be all doom and gloom. I ask questions to see whether or not your thoughts would be, how your thoughts really would be like. But this is what I truly believe. I also believe that the circuit breaker is temporary. There will be a phase 2. Yeah, should everything go according to plan, and we think the phase 2 is going to be a couple of months away, or longer than 2-3 months. Not really. Because if you look at school schedules, it's going to start full time, completely Monday to Friday, right? That phase 2 is actually July. Yeah, if you look at the MOE press release. So it does look as if we are going to be turning around that corner very soon. And things could go back to some normalcy. And the other good news is that the vaccine, have you read about that? Have you guys found out about the vaccine?
Yeah.
The drug maker AstraZeneca, and this has been going. I've been following this for a few months. Oxford University, together with AstraZeneca, they've been working on the vaccine. They tried it in the monkeys, and it worked in terms of not allowing the virus to also mutate in the lungs. Just that they haven't resolved the one in the nose. They've tried some human trials already. They are trying to fast forward everything. And they're prepared to make 1 billion of these doses available worldwide. So this could be as early as September. So if you were to look at how things have been happening, this, by the way, this is in CNA. Yeah? It's not taken off some fake news outlet or something. So
yeah, but as far as I understand, the efficacy is still being tested.
Yes, it's still being tested, because you know that when you come up with a vaccine, usually it's like 2 years before they could actually, completing all the clinical trials is longer. But they have to fast forward this because this is an extraordinary thing that's happening right now with COVID-19, right? So it's still the silver lining. There's a silver lining, yeah. So fingers crossed that we might be out of the woods sooner than we think. So being optimistic, I said, guys, don't worry about it. I completely agree. There is nothing like, when you want to stay fit and sedentary, rather than stay sedentary and not have your immunity build up, it's best done with professionals around you, feeling safe and secure in that particular place, and also in your community.
Yeah, I mean, through this whole process, we have been trying to kind of engage with the government to kind of...
Who's we, Khiang?
Yeah, so the franchisor, together with a number of other fitness operators, big ones, have been having meetings, I guess, with some of the ministers to kind of discuss our concerns and issues, right, including the whole rental situation. Another one of my bugbears is GSS. I don't know whether you want to talk about it. I'm happy to share a bit more if you want to. But yeah, I mean, so because of all this engagement, I think there is now talk that, we should have kind of a body similar to USSR in the US to kind of just come together collectively, whether it's to represent the industry's interests before the government, or whether it is to excuse me, share best practices or support, smaller operators and so on and so forth. So hopefully that will be a good outcome from all this.
Okay. But again, as I said, this is a discussion for over kopi another time, or even whiskey for that matter.
Okay.
That one will be boozing with Chris.
Yeah.
But again, guys, thank you so very much. Don't worry, we're turning a corner. Everything's gonna get better. I can't wait to go back into the gym. Trust you me, it's harder. No matter what you follow or whatever free online coaching there is and all that stuff you watch, it is not the same.
Can I just say, like you mentioned earlier, like people who build their gyms in their home and all that. This is just like people staying in condos. They have got swimming pools. They have got gyms.
But they don't use it.
Do they use them? No. A lot of them don't. Even if they use them, they will not feel satisfied. And even for me, like when I do my bands exercise, how much bands I use on myself to create tension on myself and all that. Not the same with being
It's
in
not
the
the same. You're right.
carrying those weights on you. When you do deadlifts, when you do your power squats and all that, it's not the same. It's never the same. So, how even if you say I bought all these equipments and put in the house also, it's not the same with your kakis there going and pumping you and telling you, hey, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
You're doing it at home, I can tell you, guarantee after a year you get bored and all that, and you say,
Yeah.
I mean, if you want, I can share a few more kind of results from the survey. So in the survey, we actually asked members, how soon, do they think they'll be back at the gym once we reopen? One of the options was, I wish it was yesterday. I think it was about 63% of them actually chose that option. So, that's the good news. 73% of them said that, this pandemic has made them realize the importance of, health and well-being. So hopefully, that translates to the whole population. So again, that's good news. That's silver lining. So maybe more people will be interested in joining a gym in the future. I can also share, I guess, because Anytime Fitness has a large network. So we have had gyms in Hong Kong and in Australia and New Zealand, which were closed down and then recently reopened. They, did well as well in terms of, getting members back. There were queues of members trying to get back in. Of course, because of the measures, and there's a restricted capacity and all that. So it makes it a little bit challenging, but again, I think there is good news out there.
Count on it. People will come back. Let me tell you, and I agree. I mean, this show is meant for me to ask you questions where I just want to tickle your brain and see what your opinions truly are. It doesn't mean I disagree with you. I completely agree with you. I'm a gym lover. Okay, I live in one part of Singapore and I travel every other day to Khiang's gym, and I take a 20-minute to 25-minute drive. I could go one that's just across the street, but I don't. Because why? It's about community. It's where you feel belonged as well. It's about having all those people around you that you begin to call brothers and sisters.
Yeah,
So
after the circuit breaker, we will also miss the connection with people.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So there's nothing like it. Having a warmth for someone, and the aura of people around you. I think that's very, very important. So we gotta bring the show to an end, this Kopi session to an end. Of course, it's been this is a long one. So thank you everyone for being my kakis with me today. And for everyone else, all listeners and viewers, join me again for the next Kopi with Chris. Do remember to like, share, and subscribe. And remember, if you are a couch potato today, you could be a potato couch tomorrow. Until next time, I'm Chris Henson. And thank you. This has been Kopi with Chris.